And we're going to the hooky low, the hooky, the hooky, the hooky low. With the la la, it's the cow cow. And breakfast with Bob.
Pancho, man. Loving that. We are brought to you by HOKA, One, Polar, Halo Neuroscience, Velofix, Today's Plan, Normatec, Four Seasons Resort, Hualalai, Triathlete Magazine, and we're here at beautiful Huggo's on the Rocks with one of our favorite people on the planet. Please give it up for Mr. Timothy O'Donnell, the star of the Tim and Rinny and Izzy show.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm the star. I think there's two others in front of me, particularly Izzy.
But you got your name at the top.
That's true.
Good lobbying.
This is one of the few times I'm in front of Rinny.
Exactly. So 4 times top 10 here?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
3, 5, 6, 8?
Yep.
Yes. So when we look at this year in particular, you've changed things up. You've been working with Mark Allen for the last few years. This year, Julie Dibens.
Yep.
What's Julie brought to the table for you?
Julie it's really been a breath of fresh air for me. Having her in Boulder with me, really supporting me day to day, has been awesome. Yeah. And we've known each other since 2009. We both moved to Boulder the same year. Very close friends. She was in Rinny's bridal party, so she knows me very well as a person and as an athlete. And it's just been really fun to have that squad environment and have her just kind of dedication and willingness to put so much time and energy into all of her athletes that it's been a lot of fun.
And you did a camp in beautiful Kansas.
Lawrence, Kansas.
We think of Bend, we think of San Diego, we think of Boulder, we think of Tucson. Kansas.
It's
but it was awesome.
Honestly, a friend of ours recommended it, and we stepped back and looked at it. I'd raced the 70.3 there in 2009,
right.
And it was a good race. It was a hard race, a lot of rolling hills around the lake.
A lot of wind.
A lot of wind, heat, humidity, and very nice people, very relaxed town. It was perfect. Yeah, it was a perfect 3 weeks.
And great swimming and the whole.
Right, yeah, 2 50-meter pools, nice lake.
It's college town.
It is. It's a college town. Yeah.
And in the summer, they're looking. They want people.
Yeah, well, we were there when everybody was just getting back into town, which it's kind of fun. You know, we live in Boulder, another college town, but you know, Kansas with KU, that's the whole town. So it was good. Good energy with the young kids.
But also, usually people go to altitude for their final brick parts of their workouts, and now you guys are going away from altitude to sea level, which is not a bad thing.
It's the first time I've done it leading into Kona. Rinny did it in 2009 and 10 with Siri, and I just felt like when you're doing those big sessions before Kona, when you're throwing everything you can at the wall to see what's going to stick, it's just a lot to recover from at altitude because it takes so much more out of you. But when we were down at sea level, and that was the most important part of leaving Boulder, was just getting down to sea level. It was amazing how well you could back up your sessions and really get that top end speed in some of your specific sessions that you can't get at altitude.
So when you look back at your career, starting as Olympic distance guy and then moving on, what do you look at as the best day? The best day as an athlete?
Honestly, I don't think I've had it yet.
You've had some good days.
I've had some good days,
but
I'm not. I don't want to look back, Bob. I've had some great races here. I've had some great races, other places, but I don't know. I feel like I'm a new athlete, and I haven't had my best race here. I haven't run as well as I really wanted to run here. And with Julie, we've been working on not only my run fitness but my form and trying to be more efficient.
Right.
Run like Rinny, so to speak.
Yes.
And I think I've come a long way in that regard. So I need to be smart on the bike, and hopefully we're sitting down here next year and we're talking about what happened this year.
So when I look at the way you race this race, you've never been afraid to go for it, right? And that's a lot of people get afraid of the moment. This is the biggest spotlight in the sport, and it's easy to sort of, not easy to run your way up and be off the bike in 15th or whatever and go run up in the 8th place. But there was a couple years ago where you seized it. You went off the front of the bike, maybe paid for it a little bit.
Usually do.
But you don't know, right? You have to take those chances. And what did you learn about yourself from that? Because I think that was a pretty major moment for you.
Yeah, no, like 2015 going off the front, you learn that you are a contender at this highest level. At the time I'd been doing this race for several years and had top 5, top 6, or top 8 finishes. Yep. But those don't really tell you that you can win. But when you're on the podium and you're going to an energy lab and you're a minute, down from Frodo and, smelling what it,
it's right
is
there
like to be at front, you changes your perspective. So with that and now a little more experience, that being said, you still have to be smart, and there's, more than one way to just,
right.
Sometimes you can't use the same trick over and over again. So
how does being a dad change your perspective on all this? The training, the racing, the travel?
Now that we're over a year into it, it's awesome. I mean, we hit the island last year. Izzy was 6 weeks old when we got on the plane.
Yeah, that's
first kid. We didn't have family with us. Rinny was carrying the whole load. It was a lot. And I think when I was in the race last year, I expected some special dad energy to just give me an extra boost. Like, oh, I got this. I'm a dad now. Like, it's just gonna happen. It's gonna be so magical. And then hitting the Queen K, I'm like, this is not magic. I am not mentally prepared for this. So, it was a good realization for me that, yes, like seeing Izzy out on the course and the fun and enjoyment that we've had watching her over the years is extremely powerful and has put me in a very positive place.
Right.
It still means it's, I have to have my head screwed on race day, and I have to be ready to hurt, For me this year, it's all about focus, fight. There's two words that pop into my head, and I've been kind of putting those in my through my brain my last two races, which have gone really well, and hopefully just kind of carry that momentum through race day.
So with Rinny coming back this year, how hard has that been to balance? Because Rinny's the mom and she's coming back and feeling like she's got to lose weight and all that type of stuff. There's a lot more balance going on.
Honestly, I mean, it's been such a joy to watch Rinny come back because, husband-wife relationship aside, I'm just such a fan of what she's done as an athlete. And to see her perspective now with Izzy and her still putting Izzy first, she didn't rush breastfeeding. She didn't rush dropping weight. She's always had Izzy first in this build-up. And it's just, it's really special. I think she's going to have a great race. She's in a great spot. And hopefully I can outrun her.
And now the way she's riding.
Oh, my gosh, her riding, her ride in Augusta, which was actually a slightly long course 3 weeks ago.
And she had the fastest ride of the day.
Yeah, she had the fastest ride. I'm really impressed. It's going to be interesting. I think a lot of people have written her off, but you can't look at her track record and
you look at her track record.
Right?
She's on the podium every time. Yeah. 3 wins. So, I mean, the main thing for her is if she can get out of the water with the right group, right, and have some people to ride with, because now she can ride with them.
Yeah, I'm actually interested in the women's race because I want to see how the ladies do on the front, and if they kind of turn into our race where they just start trying to crush each other.
Right.
And don't think about the entire
people behind.
Race. Exactly. So, I mean, they may get some egos may start getting into play up front, and we'll see how, we see in the men's race how many of the men pay, myself included, for making bad decisions throughout the race.
I remember a few years ago watching the women, and it was Caroline Steffen, it was Leanda Cave, and we weren't even at the airport, and people were surging like it was a criterium. And you're like, there's no way they're going to hang on to this the whole time.
Yeah.
But for for the women who are here, that Lauren Brandon and
Lucy
are going to go off the front,
right.
And then Daniela's going to be trying to make up ground. So those guys are last year. Daniela made a move at 40K left. She wanted to be leading off the bike, but that's a risk.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
As you found out, it's a risk anytime you make that move, but. At the same time, the people behind who are riding steady state sometimes could take advantage of it.
I mean, at the end of the day, I sit down with Julie all the time and we strategize. All right, what's the plan here? At the end of the day, if you can focus on your hydration and your nutrition and your mental toughness, it's going to put together a good race, And I think Rinny's kind of been, the shining light of that strategy over the years because, if at the end of the day, if you have the goods and you focus on yourself and executing the correct race, the proper race, you get the result, that you want, and it's most likely going to be pretty high up there.
How important is for you to where you are out of the water right now with you've got Starkowitz in the lead pack, usually up
Right.
there towards the front, and he's obviously has one way to race, and that's to go for it. And then last year we saw it with Cam and Lionel Sebi
Yeah.
working their way through the field. Where do you want to be out of the water, and do you have people you want to ride with?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting because we've had a lot of injuries for some of the top contenders.
Yeah.
Obviously, Jan, Ben Hoffman,
Terenzo.
Borstein, I've been told.
Yes,
so you have
Boris is
four
out,
guys that are, either champions or top 10 type of guys.
Right.
But the most important thing about that, and strategy-wise, is that's a lot of the guys that push the pace in that big front group. So, I've been swimming well this year. Got to give a shout out to JR back in Noosa. Guy's a legend of a coach. I think Braden's actually Curry's been swimming with him in the last couple of weeks. But if we can get a couple guys that swim in that 47-minute range instead of the 48, 30, 49-minute range, that could leave that main pack without some of the horses that normally push them along. And maybe a few guys, 6-8 guys up front can really set a strong pace and most importantly, make the guys like Lionel and Sebi
And Cam.
possibly Cam if he's not in that front group, make them work harder to get up to you, because the last couple of years there was a lot of soft pedaling for that front group, a lot of positioning, and before you know it, those guys are up pushing the pace.
They made up 7 minutes
Yeah.
and 60K.
Right, yeah.
Right? And
Which is
that
crazy.
shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Not with the top guys in the
So,
world up there.
Yeah, and it hurts our race because then we're riding above, our Ironman, kind of threshold
Right.
to try to stay with them. Whereas if we had ridden a little harder at the beginning, we would maybe make it easier up to Javi. So.
Is there a point where when you do make a move and you end up, going into the lead, where you wonder, okay, was that
stupid?
Was
Yeah.
that too many matches? 'Cause we saw
Yeah.
it last year when Sebi got away, or Cam Worth got away, and then Lionel burned a lot of matches
Yeah.
to go catch him,
Yeah.
and I think that hurt him in the run. But in that moment, can you really think about it, or you just go?
Yeah, that's the hard part. You have to take opportunity when it comes to you.
Yeah.
Like in 2015, you take an opportunity when it's there, and you have to take a little bit of risk.
Right.
But you need to try to do your best in the moment to make the right choices. Go with the right opportunity and not try to make something happen.
So we haven't had this question we've gone through. You know where I'm going.
Yeah.
We haven't had an American guy win
Oh,
this
boy.
race since Tim, since our boy Tim
Yeah.
back in 2001, 2002,
Yeah.
right? 2 in a row, and you're one of the guys, right?
Yeah.
You've been on the podium, top 10 4 times, like you said. You have not had your best race
Right.
Anywhere in the world yet, and especially here. And I'm a firm believer of that, because even when you finish third or whatever, your run hasn't been where we know you can
Right.
run.
Yep.
What would it mean for you to be that guy?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it'd be a great honor.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm not going to get there by trying to focus on that outcome.
Right.
It's focusing on the process. And in all honesty, I probably think more about the people that have supported me, family, friends, coaches that have made all those sacrifices over this. I mean, I've been doing this sport a long time. These past 10, 15 years, I missed a lot of family functions,
Right.
nieces and nephews. Christenings or
Sure.
first communions and family gatherings. So I think about everybody that supported me over the years, and there's no better way to honor all the people that put so much into you than winning a race like this or really doing well, because they don't get credit ever, and they're here to support us, myself and other athletes, regardless win or lose. But it's nice to be able to give them a little moment of that happiness and success for all that they put into us.
Love it. How about a round of applause for Mr. Timothy O'Donnell? Love it. Poncho Man, take us out, my man.
What a wonderful day for fishing, the old Hawaiian waves, and breakfast with Poncho.